Hi, my name is Dr. Richard Abbey, and I'm coming to you live from Palo Alto, California. Today I'm talking about what is a neuropsychological assessment, and many of you may be wondering, well, how does that differ from a school assessment? Can't you get this information at a school? What's the difference? Well, at a school, they may look at some of the things that you're concerned about your child. Oftentimes they'll do what's called response to intervention, meaning that they'll, try to work around what they may need and they'll get them to a space where they're doing well enough, just, kind of at least average like the rest of the class. The problem is with, that approach is that it doesn't really take into account what your child's true abilities are. And so let's say you have a child that's really gifted and good at something. Maybe they're really good at math, but maybe reading's not so good. So regardless if they do the response to intervention or if they do a school assessment, they're going to look and see if they're in this kind of category of being failure enough. So that means that if it's reading that is your concern, or writing that is your concern, or math, it has to be below average, meaning, most kids aren't that low. And if they are, they're easy to identify. The challenge becomes, especially when kids are very bright. See, a lot of kids are very bright, but they have some things going on. And the problem is those things go undetected in an assessment like that. And the goal is to the goal is to get your child to keep pace with most of the rest of the class, keep pace with average. But the problem is your child has special gifts and talents. They're not going to realize that. So in a private neuropsychological assessment, what the first thing you need to do is take a look at what is the child's ability level. And so what is a lot of those things can be determined by verbal, intellectual reasoning. So they got to solve kind of puzzles or problems with words. They have to explain things like definitions of words or kind of abstract thinking with words and logic with words. They also get to do that with nonverbal or visual information. And that's really important because while one child is really good at verbal intellectual reasoning, another child may be really good at the visual or nonverbal. Now the assumption is that both of them, if there's nothing opportunities to help them get better, both of them should be at the same level. But if they're not, that's actually exciting news because you can actually do something about that. But there's more when you're looking at some of these things. And some of you may have already had assessments done. For example, if you have a verbal intellectual reasoning and nonverbal intellectual reasoning, maybe above average, maybe it's at 115, and your working memory is lower, maybe it's at 100. You're like, wow, that's a standard deviation below their other abilities. And maybe their processing speed is the standard deviation below. So they're at 100. So let's say, that's okay because they're average. But that doesn't fit your child's other abilities. There's something going on with their ability to focus, working memory, ability to hold information in mind, and mentally manipulate it. By the way, if I'm going on here, let me just make sure I have questions. If you guys have questions, if I can turn that on here. I don't see that. I'll have to do that next time. So you could have these areas of weakness, working memory, ability to hold information in mind and mentally manipulate it, or hold on to it, like you're reading a book or a novel, or you're reading your history, and so you're trying to put all these complex things together, or you're reading English assignment. You're trying to keep track of all the characters, what's going to happen, what happened, making inferences, reading your math. And you have to remember what you just read. You're keeping all of this in your mind. Now, a lot of it's working memory, the ability to hold that information. And mind, you can easily see with mathematics, you're often doing this, holding that information in mind. I'll bet you I'm echoing. I'm going to check something out here. Yeah, I should have phones on. I'm going to do this over in just a minute and give this information to you.